My understanding, I don't know how many more guns he had. Apparently had a stockpile of guns in his house in addition, and we should try to figure out we will figure out where he got those weapons, and that gun dealer or that gun show should be sued till they're out of business.
Finally, the Philadelphia mayor says out loud what I have been saying for over a year. Welcome to another installment of the Connecticut Gun Bench. Today's video is brought to you by P.A.N. Firearms, LLC. P.A.N. Firearms for NRA certification and multifaceted gun training. You can reach us at 203-300-6343 or use our website at www.panfirearmsllc.com. As always, there'll be a link in the description box. And if you like my channel, like my content and what I do here, you can support me with the link in the description box. Everything is appreciated. And let's talk about this. The Philadelphia mayor, and this is in conjunction with a story that I very, very recently did about the incident in Philadelphia on over the July 4th weekend where 5 people were shot. The Philadelphia mayor, now I have looked into this guy, I've seen him in the past. He is fervently anti-gun. Well, he's not anti-gun, he's anti the public having a gun. Let's be clear about that. Okay, when people say they're anti-gun, they're not anti-gun. They're anti-you having a gun. And he is pretty much one of the biggest loudmouths when it comes to that perspective. And you heard a little bit of the video in the beginning. But he's just going on a rampage. So I'm going to go ahead and play the rest of the video so you can get an idea of what he is talking about.
It's a tragic occurrence. The question I have is, where does a person like this get an AR-15? Where does a person like this get a semi-automatic handgun? Where does a person like this buy Kevlar vest? This country needs to re-examine its conscience when it comes to Congress or the state legislature and try to figure out how we get these guns out of these people's hands. My understanding, I don't know how many more guns he had. Apparently had a stockpile of guns in his house in addition, and we should try to figure out we will figure out where he got those weapons, and that gun dealer or that gun show should be sued till they're out of business. And it's just ridiculous. And I think every family member of someone who died or was injured in this incident should get together with a big law firm and take these gun dealers down.
Heard that and you saw that. Every time I've done a video on an incident where a gun manufacturer is being sued, I tell you why they're being sued. They're not being sued for the sake of justice. They're being sued for the sake of agenda. If we can't circumvent the Second Amendment through legislature, we are going to basically attack the gun manufacturers in their pockets to put them out of business. Not for the sake of the safety of society, but for the sake of the agenda. But I'm going to come into here, and this is ammo land. Philadelphia mayor calls for gun dealers to be sued out of existence. The mayor of Philadelphia has called for the families of the victims of the mass shooting of the Independence Day holiday to sue gun dealers and gun shows out of business because it's their fault. The motivation of this person was to curb gun violence. That's what this person told the police. But we should sue the gun dealers and the gun shows because of this person. The city of Philadelphia has been plagued with violence under the leadership of Mayor Jim Kenney since he took office. The city has attempted to restrict the Second Amendment rights of its residents, leaving them defenseless against criminals and gangs that infest the city of brotherly love, because that's all gun control ever does. That the gun control has only one purpose: to limit the rights of the people who will actually follow the laws that you put in place. It's not to address the crime. Over the long holiday weekend, a crazed madman disregarded the city laws and shot and killed 5 people, including a 15-year-old boy. Instead of addressing the violence that infests the nation's birthplace, the mayor has targeted the gun industry by pushing the victims' families to file lawsuits against gun shops and shows, claiming that these businesses should not have sold guns to the shooter. The mayor didn't say what red flags the murderer exhibited. Maybe Mayor Kenney was concerned that the shooter was a cross-dresser. There's been an uptick in members of the trans community carrying out attacks across the nation, or perhaps he is concerned that the attacker supported Black Lives Matter. During the summer of the BLM protests, many cities burned and several people were killed. 18 actually. 18 black people were killed during the BLM riots. If the mayor is referencing the trans attacks or the BLM riots, he will never publicly admit it or blame those communities. What other signs could the gun shops pick up on? is the mayor stating that gun shows should bar members of the LGBT community from entering the complexes. Also, we must remind the mayor that correlation doesn't equal causation. The trans community and BLM should not be blamed for the actions of an unstable individual. Truth. The gun shouldn't be blamed. A firearm is a tool that can be used for good or evil. Pretty much like money, it's neutral. And more often a gun is used in self-defense rather than crime. Mayor Kinney's solution to the ongoing violence in the city is to make it harder for law-abiding citizens to defend themselves from the thugs that do not follow the laws in the first place. Instead of enacting real solutions to the epidemic of crime in Philadelphia, the mayor is using guns as a scapegoat. They all do that. What he is doing is covering up for his failed leftist policies that have not only failed in his city, but have failed in Democrat-run cities across the country. The Keystone Victory Fund, a super PAC focused on protecting gun rights in Pennsylvania, also took note of the mayor's attack on lawful businesses. Emma Land News spoke to the PAC chair, Colonel Val Finnell, USAF retired, about Kinney's comments. Quote, Mayor Jim Kinney is once again showing his hostility to the Second Amendment by attacking legitimate businesses rather than holding the mass murderer responsible for his actions, Dr. Finnell told Emma Land. Apparently, Jim Kinney doesn't want law-abiding Philadelphians to be able to purchase firearms locally to defend themselves. Remember, this is the mayor who tried banning guns in city parks, making honest citizens targets for criminals. As long as Jim Kinney's in office, the city of Philadelphia will not get safer, and the city will continue to try to infringe on the gun rights of its residents. Okay, so let me go ahead and come out of that. Now, Philadelphia, which has been plagued with gun violence in general for decades, they had their opportunity to turn their city around by electing someone who is going to be tough on crime. It's the same situation that happened out in Chicago. They had Lori Lightfoot, who was a disaster when it came to crime, and they turned right around and voted in even a worse person. This is what Philadelphia did. Jim Kinney is not interested in solving crime. He's only interested in telling you that you don't need a gun and we should sue gun manufacturers because somebody uses a gun in a crime. And this article, and I'll try to leave it in the description box, pretty much nails it down. There are a lot of red flags there, but none of them anyone would have picked up on and said, okay, this person shouldn't have a gun. Is the mayor more concerned that this person's a BLM supporter and a cross-dresser? Because that's literally attacking a community for the actions of one, but he's not doing that. He's attacking the gun community because of the actions of this person. And it once again, it's just cowardice on their part because they refuse to address the real problems of gun violence that's plaguing these inner liberal cities. I know I've pointed this out before, and this is a true stat, that of 193 countries, the United States is third in gun violence specifically. If you remove the 5 major cities for gun violence, Chicago, Detroit, St. Louis, Philadelphia, and then I believe it's Los Angeles, if you remove those 5 cities, the United States would be 189th in gun violence. What does that tell you? What do those 5 cities have in common? I keep saying it. It's so clear, it's so evident what the problem is, but they will not address it because it will cause them to have to focus on communities that are victims, that are underprivileged. And they don't want to do that. And they never will do that. So they'll continue to make gun owners scapegoats of bad actors. But let me know what you think. As always, you can leave your comments in the comment section below. And as always, any statements of violence or statements that lead to violence will be removed. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you're notified the next time a video goes live. I will see you on the next one. Peace.